Moin, Leben!
Hello everybody, Leepinlepin here. How are you guys doing? I'm doing just fine. Got another gun review for you guys here today. Today we are looking at a very special rifle. This rifle here is the K98. It is a shortened version of the Gewehr 98. This was the German rifle during World War II. Now this particular rifle, of course I got where it's at right now because it is so big. This particular rifle, well, maybe I should get into the history of Mauser first. Mauser, a name well known in the Second World War community and any war community. Mauser was a German arms manufacturer. Their line of bolt-action rifles and semi-automatic pistols has been produced since the 1870s, quite a few back, for the German armed forces in the late 19th and 20th centuries. Mauser designs were also exported and licensed in many countries, which I'll list, which adopted them as military and civilian sporting firearms. The Mauser Model 98, which you see here, in particular was widely adopted and copied and is the foundation of many today's sporting bolt-action rifles. When the 98 came out, it was a technological leap. Okay? When the Gewehr 98 came out in 1898, wow. Okay? Bolt actions, they had a reputation like, well, it was bolt action, like this 1871 that I'm showing you now. But they weren't really widely well known unless you consider the Krag Jorgensen, maybe even Lebel. But in 1898, when Mauser developed their famous Mauser bolt action, it changed everything about bolt actions. In fact, many rifles today still use that action. That's just how influential it was. So Mauser was started by King Frederick I. He founded the enterprise as
Königliche Waffenschmieden
on the 31st of July, 1811. Originally located partly at
Ludwigsburg
and partly in Christophel. The factory transformed to the former Augustine Kloster in
Oberndorf am Neckar,
where Andreas Mauser worked as a master gunsmith. One of his 7 sons who worked with him there, Peter Paul Mauser, might be a good band name, showed an outstanding ability to develop methods and operation that were faster and more efficient. His older brother Wilhelm assured many of his father's duties as he became ill. In fact, there is such a large history on the Mauser and the company itself. I'm not going to list everything here because it is so large. This video would be 2-3 hours long. So, some of the highlights is the M71. The M71 was actually accepted by the Prussian government on the 2nd of December 1871. Of course, the civilian market. They were readily adapted as hunting rifles in Africa. Safari rifles are often made from Mausers. These rifles were often rechambered in larger rounds up to including 50 caliber, which is massive. That's mean. The adaptations usually consisted of shortening the foregrip in the barrel, rechambering to accommodate popular British rounds, yada yada yada. Surplus military Mausers, which you can still buy today, many in mint condition, well, somewhat mint, have also entered the civilian market, as we know. considerable amount of surplus K98s were available after World War II, and were some were used by Schlitz and Larsen in Denmark as the basis for target rifles. They're pretty cool. So I have some stats here on the rifle itself, and I will get into the story of this particular rifle. So the K98, of course, was a German production rifle. Of the K98Ks, there were 2,769,533 produced. But there was a total of 14 million Mausers, K98s, and their variants produced. Of course, the caliber is 7.92 by 57, or 8 by 57. Many people call it 7.92 Mauser, 8mm Mauser. That's what I call it. That's what my father calls it. It does have a 5-round stripper clip, which I will show you. The effective range is 550 yards with iron sights and 1,090 yards with a scope. The maximum range is 5,140 yards. That would be a record setter if that ever could happen. Now, here are some of the countries that the K98 and their variations were adapted to. Mexico, Turkey, Portugal, Brazil, Uruguay, Serbia, Argentina, naturally, China, Belgium, Czechoslovakia, Czechoslovakia, there we go, and of course, Spain. Very neat rifle. I have shot this particular rifle several times in the past. In fact, I really started getting into the Mauser scene when Call of Duty 3 came out, I think. And of course, instead of using the M1 Garand, I would pick up the K98 because I knew that Dad had one. But I didn't really know the story of the rifle until I talked to my grandfather. My grandfather served in the Second World War. He was part of the 20th Armored Division. He was a T5, that's Technician 5th grade. Basically a corporal. His job was to drive the half-tracks and carry a bazooka along with his M1 Garand. Or Garand, however you want to say it. Anyway, the 20th Armored Division went through France, Belgium, Germany, and Austria. I think, if I remember correctly, he got this rifle at a very special spot. How many of you have ever heard of Dachau concentration camp? See, the 20th Armored Division liberated Dachau. So thus, they had to surrender their weapons. Well, the thing is, if these were battle rifles, they would be in horrible shape. This one is near pristine. Now, yes, it does have some wear and tear from using it throughout the years, but this is almost in pristine condition. Almost. So here's what I think what happened. When they surrendered these rifles at Dachau, they probably had a barracks or an armory. I think this particular rifle was in that armory and was barely used at all. And I'm going to show you some reasons why I think that. Alright, let's get the trigger warning out of the way. This firearm does have some stampings on it that does contain a particular symbol. However, I encourage you watch this so you can learn. History can be ugly, but that's history. If you don't learn from it, you'll repeat it. So I have the rifle in my hand. First thing I'm going to do is check it. Empty. Excellent. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is the wood. I want you guys to see this for yourself. Look how good it is. Okay. Look at the grade of it. Yes, there is some that could be within the grain itself though. But look how beautiful it is. Look how beautiful it is. And get off the... Thank you. Look how shiny that wood is. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, there is some marks like there, but that could have been done post-war too. Another thing, of course, this is a little bit rusted. Just a little bit. Because, well, looks like it's been stored a little bit wet at some time. Oh, this thing is freaking heavy. Okay. I got the rifle on my lap here. Here it says BYF. That is a Mauser designation. 42 is the year it was made. There's a proof stamp right there. There's the bolt. Here's your safety flag. When it's down like this, it is in the fire position. Push your safety flag. Oops, let's try this. Push your safety flag up. You can still cycle the bolt, but you can't fire the firearm. And then one more over. Completely safe. Can't cycle the bolt. Can't pull. You can pull the trigger, but nothing will happen. Okay. So semi-safe. You can pull the trigger, nothing happens, but you can cycle the bolt. And then full fire, which I'm going to check again. Nothing's in the chamber. Okay. Nothing's in there. Nice. Of course, the markings, like I said, BYF. There's the eagle. Oh boy. Thing's heavy. That's okay. That's a very low number. Of course, there's another marking. Mod 98. This is all number matching, by the way. With some rust, of course. There's another number. There's a sight hood. It was to cut down on daylight whenever you was using this in the daytime. Now, many of these Mausers either lost these or were captured and they were just taken off. Okay? And many variations also didn't have them on there. Of course, here's the bottom plate. All matching numbers. And at my father's home, this does have the bayonet that came with it too. BPR. Now, if you are cleaning a Mauser, this thing here, this is for your firing pin. When you take this off, which, by the way, if you do take one of these fully apart to clean or anything like that. Wow, hang on. Okay, if you're going to take this bolt apart, you got to have your flag up like this. And I'm not going to take this apart. There's videos online that shows you how to do it. But anyway, you would take this apart, you take that off, and then you put your firing pin into here. You push down on the spring, and that's how you take all this apart. pretty neat, really. Pretty neat. Here's the sight adjustment. 1 to 20. So 100 meters to 2,000. And the sight picture on it's actually very nice. If we can try to get one here. Thing is quite unwieldy to even hold, let alone get any type of sight picture. Yeah, this may not work, guys. Well, there's a simulation of a sight picture. Oh, wow. Man, you had to be strong to hold these, huh? But that's good, because, well, something this heavy you got to have for the 8mm rounds, which are potent. Really, really potent. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Once again, we'll take a look at this wood. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, my grandfather, he actually got several of these. One he sent home to the farm. One he sent to his brother, which his son has it now. And I think he sent another one to his other brother, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. This has been Leapin' Lepin. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And of course, if you do subscribe, make sure to ring that bell to get notifications for whenever I upload a new video. This is Leapin' Lepin. I'm out of here. See you folks in the next video.